Hey everyone, it's Yishan here. Just a couple of things before we get into the video. Number one, if you enjoy the content, do please consider subscribing. It helps out a lot. And number two, I've got a couple of affiliate links, free ways to support the channel. Number one is my TCG player link. If you shop there, I get some of the money you send on the website. It costs you nothing extra. Number two is my Your Playmat affiliate link. They make custom sleeves and mats. This is a custom sleeve right here. Check them out. If you use that affiliate link, you get 10% off. Without further ado, guys, let's get right into the video. Hey guys, it's Yishan here. So I am here with my friend Anthony Shu, who actually was able to get top 8 at the Remote Duel Extravaganza. I had the privilege of playing him in the final round of Swiss, where I lost, but he was playing extremely cool deck, and I really wanted to showcase it to you guys because not only was it cool, it also was really powerful. So Anthony, can you tell everyone what you were playing this weekend?
I was playing what I like to call Disney Tri-Brigade, but what other people like to call Melffy Tri-Brigade.
Okay. Now, I thought this was a meme deck, but clearly it isn't. You know, what separates your build from other Melffy Tri-Brigade builds that you might have seen running around on the internet?
Other Melffy builds typically focus a lot on the Melffys. They usually run both Melffy of the Forest and Joyous Melffys, and they go really hard into it. They run the Sky Cavalry, and they run Hop Ear Squadron to go into synchro plays like Herald of the Arclight or Borload Savage Dragon. They might even run Halqifibrax. My build doesn't do that. My build is mainly Tri-Brigade focused, but using all of the good cards that the Melffy and the Mythical Beast engine gives you.
Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll go through the deck profile, and then we'll maybe show you the combo at the end, just so everyone can see. But yeah, let's start with the deck profile.
Okay. I've played 3 copies of Tri-Brigade Fractal.
Yep, makes sense.
3 copies of Tri-Brigade Nerval.
Also makes sense.
3 copies of Tri-Brigade Kit.
Okay.
And then 2 copies of Keras. In this deck, as opposed to Fractal being the one you want to see, you actually want to see these 2 more, because these 2 are level 2 beasts, and that is very, very important, as the best card in your deck, Obedience Gold, it locks you into only being able to special summon beasts for the rest of the turn. Mm-hmm. So these 2 are the ones that you actually want to see. Ideally, you want to see both in your opening hand. You see one of them in your opening hand, and you add the other one off of Nerval. That's usually what happens.
Yep. Now, I have a question. Is there... So you play 2 Keras. Every time Keras comes up in a Tri-Brigade deck profile, I always ask the player why they chose 2 versus 3 or 3 versus 2. What was your reasoning for 2 in this case?
My reasoning for 2 in this case was because Tri-Brigade Keras by itself doesn't start your combo, nor does it it doesn't advance your game state at all. If I draw a Nerval or a Kit, I can at least get myself going. Nerval will at least get me a play for next turn and dump 1 in the graveyard. Kit will get 2 in the graveyard. But Keras by itself, it feels really bad. There's a lot of times where I've drawn a hand of just Keras and 3 Tri-Brigade, and 3 non-Tri-Brigades, where I just couldn't have done anything. But I think if I were to edit this list, I might put Keras actually to 3, because specifically in this version, I found myself not having a Keras in the late game when I would in fact want one, because in the regular combo, in one of the combos, you actually have to summon this out, and it's not Kit. Most of the time, if I can, I will choose to search Kit and use Kit as my normal summon, but one of the combos specifically requires the Keras. So,
okay, very interesting. That's good to know.
There hasn't been a game where I really said, I want a 3rd Keras right now, but I could see myself being in a situation where I would be happy to have 3 in my deck.
Okay.
And then now it's I play 1 copy of Valeraphon, 1 copy of Melffy Puppy, and 2 copies of Kalantosa for my level 2 Beast engine.
Mm-hmm. So I think I mean, you might want to explain what each of these cards do quickly, but we're definitely going to go over the combo for you guys at the end, because that's probably the best ways to sort of understand how these cards work.
Okay, so Kalantosa, if you watched Rev's cards sealed video, this card, when it's summoned by the effect of a beast, it will destroy 1 card on the field. This card, when your opponent's normal or special summons a monster, or if they had selected this card for an attack, you can bounce this card to the hand, and if you do, you can special summon a level 2 beast from your deck. Now, the level 2 beast targets in your deck is Kalantosa, Bellerophon, Kit, and Keras.
Mm-hmm.
And during the end phase, you can just summon this card out. If you didn't activate Bear Room this turn. If you activate Bear Room, you can't do that.
Right.
And then the Bellerophon, it's a tuner. That's the most important part. This is a tuner. But other than that, you can discard one card to target a level 2 beast in your graveyard and special it. Most importantly, it doesn't have to discard a beast. It's not like Keras where you have to discard a Tri-Beast. This card can discard any card.
Mm-hmm.
And the best combo with this is when you use this card to discard to bring back Kit. When you do the Fractal Kit combo, it reminds me a lot of Turquoise Warbler plus Fractal, being able to dump the Cobalt Sparrow and bring it back. In this case, if you have Bellerophon plus Fractal, you can dump the Kit, which dumps Nurgle, and you can bring back the Kit to banish too. Although this does use your normal summon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying these are the best draws. They are quote unquote bricks, but I'll show you later why I don't really count them as a brick most of the time. Okay, so now onto the hand traps. I'm running 3 copies of Effect Veiler, 3 copies of Ash Blossom, 3 copies of Psyframe Gear Gamma, 1 copy of Psyframe Gear Driver, and I'm also running 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence.
Okay, yeah, so, I mean, I think Gamma is the most interesting hand trap here. How come you decided to play? Because obviously you can't use it going first most of the time. Although, it is good with Obedience Schooled. Oh, spoiler.
It does protect Obedience Schooled from resolving.
I see.
Yes.
I see, that makes sense.
Obedience Schooled, it's the very next card, so I'll just talk about it now. Obedience Schooled, this card, it's not a once per turn, first of all. It is not a once per turn. Second of all, it locks you after it resolves. So if somebody ashes this, you're not locked. And if you summon this out before you activate this, you're still not locked. It's not like a Red Eyes Fusion situation where if you activate Red Eyes Fusion, you cannot Gamma.
Right.
But in this case, you can use this to protect this to resolve.
Right.
So this is why I like to play this. And okay, I'm running 6 copies of basically of Effect Veiler basically, and this is really bad against Virtual World. And I wanted to run a hand trap that's good against Virtual World, and this was the hand trap that I could run that is most balanced, but offers me very good value against Virtual World. Because if you go into Virtual World with these hand traps, you'll find that these actually do very, very little to their combos. And Virtual World, because of this, Virtual World is by far my hardest matchup. But I had to run this because I wanted to respect Tri-Brigade.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting that I feel like Virtual World has traditionally had a pretty good matchup against Tri-Brigade, but when Virtual World's popular, there's like less imperms and Veilers running around. Obviously, Virtual World's not that popular now, but that actually makes it easier for Tri-Brigade, which I find interesting. But yeah, so it sort of almost helps Tri-Brigade out. But okay, let's take a look at this. Yeah, let's take a look at these spells here. I'm very curious.
So I run 3 copies of Obedience Schooled, 2 copies of Pot of Prosperity, 1 copy of Triple Tactics Talents, 1 copy of Called by the Grave, 1 copy of Monster Reborn, and the sole copy of Tanky.
Okay, yeah, so I guess my question here, obviously Obedience Schooled is like the main reason to play this. It's just like the power, it's like back in the day, you know, like Soul Charge. It's like the power card. But why the 1 talents? You know, why not just play Triple Prosperity? Or that's sort of my question there.
Okay, yeah, I have had a lot of people ask me this before, and the answer I give them is very weird. People don't usually get this, but I'll explain it anyway. In this deck, you want to use your Prosperity to dig for your starter cards, but the problem is this deck can only resolve Prosperity once, and most of the time you're resolving it for 3. If you're because of how extra deck reliant this deck is, if you're going to resolve Prosperity for 6, you're very, very desperate at that point. I'm playing this because it can potentially get you into your Obedience Schooled, and you cannot play Desires in this list because you're playing your one-ofs that you don't really want to banish off of Desires. This gives me the amount of consistency that I want without having, I really don't want to see 2, because if I see 1 and I see the other, this card is completely dead. Now, if I have 2 of this and I see 1, now the chances of me drawing a dead card in the middle of the game is even more. And Tri-Brigade is a deck that cannot accept drawing dead cards in the mid game. In the mid game, you want every single one of your cards to be a Tri-Brigade, because if you have a Kit and a Keras, you have 2 2 chances to start your combo. Because
Mhm.
usually when they clear your board, they'll have 1 interruption. And if you don't have this combination in hand, you'll normal summon, they'll interrupt, and you're done.
That makes sense to me, actually. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I just want this is what a lot of TCG players don't get that I really like about the OCG. The OCG cares about their mid game more. TCG is always I'm gonna build the best deck as much as possible to get my turn 1. If this card is good, I'm playing 3, or I'm not gonna play it. If this card is good enough to play, why not play it at maximum? But doing so, although it makes your turn 1 good, it makes your turn 2, turn 3, your follow up a lot worse. And I just cannot accept that. And in return, I'm playing 1 copy of Triple Tactics Talent. This card performs a similar role to this, as that it can help me dig through my deck. But this card is also another card where it's unacceptable to see 2 in a game. I've seen so many times people playing 2 to 3 talents and just bricking on this card. Like this card, if I see 1 of it, it's fine. Most of the time, it's useful. If it's not useful, I shuffle it back. But you shuffle cards back less and less as you go on. Turn 1, you shuffle 2 cards back. 1 with Farragut, 1 with Bear Brim. So if you see this early and you don't use it, it's fine. But if you see this in the mid game, like most of the time, it's just going to be a dead card in your hand. You're going to pray to God they're going to go ahead and activate a monster effect so you can do something with it. But most of the time, it's going to contribute. It's the biggest reason to contribute to you losing, drawing dead cards. And I cannot accept that.
Okay,
that's basically why I run it.
I really understand where you're coming from. Now, this is interesting because I think this sort of decision, I'm a pretty big math person. It's almost like a way to reduce variance in the long game, right? If you just go with triple prosperity, you have more high highs, right? Because you're going to hit your obedience school a little bit more often, but you also have more variance in the middle game because you're drawing dead cards. So as a player, if you think your deck is really strong, actually, or yourself as a player is pretty good, you actually want to reduce variance, right? Whereas if you think you're playing like a rogue deck, you want to just okay, well, my deck's not that good anyway, I'm going to just play every sack card I can, right? So I think your deck is really strong, and I actually really like the sort of the variance reduction you have here by just playing the 2 prosperity. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's basically what I was saying. That basically exactly what I was thinking. If I think my deck is already good enough, I don't have to hit Obedience School. That's what most people don't get. Yes, my deck is insane if I hit Obedience School, but if I don't, I'm just playing Tri-Brigade like any other person. I can also end on Appaloosa Revolt Pass. Like, I've done that for like half my games where I don't see Obedience School.
Yep. And I think I know what's coming here.
Revolt Pass,
I think I know what trap is coming here.
2 copies of Soul Charge and 1 copy of Imperial Order.
Okay, very nice. So why only 2 revolts? Why not 3?
Okay. Why only 2 revolts? Because Tri-Brigade revolts in this list, since you can't make the Appaloosa going first if you resolve Obedience Schools, the revolt is less good because you don't have a way to guarantee that it resolves. But also, you don't need to hard draw the revolt, because even regular Tri-Brigade, they sometimes play 2 revolt, but you play 3 revolt because you want to hard draw it, right?
Right.
You always want to. If they stop you midway and you can't get a combo going, as long as you set this hard drawn revolt, your opponent is in for a rough one anyway. But my deck does not have to hard draw revolts. I don't feel like I want to see this revolt in the opening hand, because when we get to the combos later, you'll see that almost all the time I can search my one of these 2 copies of revolt.
Okay, that makes sense.
No matter how they interrupt me, as I don't have to rely on drawing the revolt, and I don't play Desires in this deck. Desires is one of the biggest reasons to run multiple revolts, because if your revolts get banished by Desires, you just don't have revolt anymore. But I don't have that issue because I don't run Desires.
Right. That makes sense. And then obviously Imperial Order, that card is broken, so
yeah, that card's broken. Why is it not banned?
Okay, very cool. Why don't we take a look at... I think the extract makes the most sense, yeah, because we sort of want to see what's going on in here for sure.
Okay, so let's start with 3 copies of Farragut the Barren Blossom. This is a really big difference between this deck and another deck, because since you're locked into beasts, your way of getting to your revolt is linking Bear Brim for Farragut, and some combos require to use 2 copies on your first turn.
Right.
And I found that if I only run 2 and I use 2 on the first turn, I can't do the single Tri-Brigade, go for Banish 4 Shurag, and then go for this, summon out the Tri-Beast, go Banish 3, and go for Access Code line. Doesn't work.
Right.
So you have to play 3.
Yeah, actually, I had a feeling you played 3 because I saw you did go through for 2 on your combo when you played against me. So that's cool though.
Yeah.
3 Fairy Jet's pretty cool.
And then your 1 copy of Bearbrum, if you go through this on your first turn and never anywhere else.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
1 copy of Rugal. It's for your solo kit hands where you have to banish, where you have to link it off for Almirage and then go for Karas Banish to make this links into Rugal.
Yep.
And this is your link 3 to make access code with.
Okay.
And then 2 copies of Shurag.
Yep.
This is all standard. 1 copy of Almirage, 1 copy of Appaloosa, 1 copy of Access Code, and 1 copy of Double Dragon Lords. These are all standard in the regular Tri-Brigade list anyway.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So there's no big need to explain this. If you play Tri-Brigade, you should know these combos. And then now to the non-standard part. We play 1 copy of number 64, Ronin Raccoon Sandai.
This card, yeah, I think when you explained it to me, you definitely want to explain this one because when you explain it to me, maybe it'll be more obvious in the combo again, but yeah, this card's very good in this deck.
This card's insane. So this card has 2 effects. Number 1, you can detach 1 for cost to summon a token, and the token is level 1. It's Earth level 1, and its attack is equal to the attack of the monster currently on both players' field that has the highest attack. And then the second effect is if you control any other beast on the field, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. And then we have 1 copy of Joyous Melffys. This card's you can detach 1 to attack directly, but you almost never use this effect. But the second effect is you can target 1 beast XYZ on the field, on your side of the field, return it to the extra deck, and if you do, it's an optional effect. You can summon out beasts from your graveyard. Level 2 or lower, equal to the amount of XYZ materials on that card when it was returned. Right.
So that's probably going to summon those Calentosas and those puppies.
Yeah, those Calentosas and those puppies are summoned from this card. And then 1 copy of Zeus. I actually never summoned this. If there was 1 card that I would cut in the extra deck, it would be this card. But I think that having this card in my deck as a possible option made my plays a lot safer. Also, this was the go-to card when I used Pot. This was the first card.
Yeah. So what do you usually banish off Pot? I guess we have 1 more card to look at in the extra deck, but
let's look at this last card first. It's 1 copy of Naturia Beast.
Oh, okay, right.
This is the reason why I chose to play this deck actually, because in the meta there's currently Drytrons, Dragon Links, and those 2 decks are extremely reliant on their spells going off. In fact, during Swiss, there were like quite a few games where I just won entirely off of making this card. My opponent had 4 spells in their hand, and they looked at me and they said, I cannot play the game. It was against Dogmatic Shaddoll Invoked, it was against Drytron, and it was against Dragon Link.
Yeah, I mean, this card's a house. It's like Imperial Order, but you don't need to draw it. You could just summon it.
I remember my Drytron opponent asking me, "You're not going to Prosperity into Imperial Order, right?" And then I just laughed, and I'm going to no, I don't have Imperial Order in my... I don't have it in my hand, but I do have an Imperial Order in my extra deck.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's get to the Prosperity targets. If you already know that Nat Beast is not going to be good against your opponent's deck, for example, if they're playing Lich, this one, and one of these 2 is the ones to go.
Yeah, I guess if you don't need the Almirage combo, that makes sense. Yeah.
This is one to go if you don't need the Almirage. If you need one to go.
I see. Okay, interesting. Okay.
If you're gonna banish 6, that means you're extremely desperate at this point.
Right.
You banish one of these, you banish the Almirage, and you banish either Appaloosa or Access Code.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, you usually just, if you're desperate, you're searching for an out or something to a floodgate, maybe.
If you're searching for an out, you don't care about how you kill your opponent anymore. You just want to search for an out.
Yeah.
So that's what you banish. So that's also what I mean by your deck can't afford to do that twice.
Right. That makes sense. Okay. Why don't we take a look at the side deck, and then...
Okay, in the side deck, I have 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird. I chose to respect Drytron, because you have to respect Drytron.
Yeah, now how did this work out for you, the droll?
Um, I drolled them. They hit me with the orange light most of the time.
Most of the time.
So, but
Okay.
at least this card baited out an orange light. I mean, you have to increase your chance of winning against Drytron as much as possible, because in an event like this, you would have to expect that the best deck and the most played decks would be Drytron, Tri-Brigade, and Virtual World. And I already put enough cards to respect Tri-Brigade and Virtual World in my main deck, and I believe that Drytron is a deck that you must respect, or else you will just lose to it. And I need to give them enough respect in the side deck. And mainly this card is not that good against the other matchups as opposed to Drytron. That's
Yeah,
why I chose to side it.
it's definitely interesting because I played Nibiru in my deck, and I kind of regret it because I played against a couple of Invoke Dogmatica Shadol, and like Nibiru's just not that good against them. Where Droll still hits all the decks that I was afraid of, like you said, like Drytron, even Dragon Link, and then also hits the Invoke Dogmatica Shuttle. So I think maybe Droll is definitely a better call for this tournament.
This is what I sided against Invoke Dogmatic Shadol as well as Drytron.
Right.
Because Invoke Dogmatic Shadol, I'm not expecting to see it a lot because
I played against a couple. It was weird, but I guess that's just variance. You play against random
variance,
stuff.
Yeah. Okay, and then 2 copies of Nib.
Okay.
I'm still playing this Nib because, well, against rogue decks specifically, this card crushes.
Yeah, it just crushes
decks.
rogue.
Like you need, since you're playing in the big tournament, you're gonna have to expect that you're gonna run into rogue sometimes.
Yep.
And this is giving the rogue decks respect.
Yep.
Because this card is not good against Tri-Brigade most of the time. It's not that good against Virtual World players that know what they're doing. It's not good against Dogmatic Invoke Shadol. But it is very good against all these rogue combo decks like Infernal Knights, Phantom Knights, Adignisters, Drytron players that drew a bad hand.
Yep.
So I'm still playing it. I'm playing 2 copies of Storm to respect the Tri-Brigade matchup. This card blows out Tri-Brigade. You either destroy their back row or you destroy their front row, whatever happens. And this card is really good against Rogue.
Yeah.
As well. Since I don't pack enough rogue respect in my main deck, I'm packing a lot of it in my side deck, and thank God I did that because I did run into Lich like twice. And I ran into Yishan, of course, here playing Inspection Warrior.
That Lightning Storm did get me.
Resolve this card against him.
Yeah, that Lightning Storm did get me.
Yep, and then 2 copies of Twinnies. I don't know if there was going to be Prank Kids, but I like this because it stops the Schism that this doesn't stop. It stops Pandemonium that this doesn't stop, and it's overall you needed spell speed to reaction to important floodgates, and this is what it was for. You can't just all have your back row removal be spell speed 1. If they flip an IO on you, you're just dead at that point. And now that's all the going second side deck cards. Going first side deck cards, I have 2 copies of Anti-Skill Fragrance.
Yeah, this card, like you said, the spells are pretty popular right now. So
yeah, people are running this card less and less, and because of that, more spell speed 1 removal has been introduced into the meta, and especially since the tins just released, everyone and their mothers now can afford tactics, and I needed a way to counter tactics in my deck.
True.
And this is the way to counter tactics. When they draw their tactics and you flip this on them, you need to see the reaction in their faces.
Yeah. The blood drains out of their face.
And then 3 copies of Old Man Says No. This card's just too good. If you lose game 1, you side in these 5, knowing that if you draw any of these, you're basically good for the next game. If they want to flip their pesky Dark Ruler No More or their Forbidden Droplets to try to negate your Interior Beast or your Appaloosa, you just flip this on them, and they lose the game. And then for the last card, I played a copy of Ghost Ogre. Now, in hindsight, this was a meme, but it actually got me there against some decks because against Adignisters. It's the round I lost to. I ogred his normal summon and I put him on You Gotta Have Field Spell or else you lose the game. And he had 3 copies of Crossout Designator in his deck. And in the first game, my Ash Blossom and my Veilers got hit by Crossout Designator. But he didn't have this card.
That's funny.
This card resolved. And he did have Field Spell in the end, so I ended up losing. But I put him on the ultimatum. You gotta have it.
Yep. That's what we should do against Adignister. I actually lost to Adignister too. Yeah.
Maybe we lost the same.
We lost the same guy. Yeah, we lost to Timothy. So, I think Timothy's playing right now. So good luck to Timothy. But yeah.
Yeah, good luck, Timothy. Hopefully you win. Okay, now that we done the decks, do you have any other questions, or do you want me to show you the combos?
No, I think I asked my questions. Yeah, I'm really curious to see these combos. I think a lot of people are. So.
Yep. Okay. Let's say you draw a hand of 4 cards, and then you're Obedience Schooled, right?
Yep.
Because if I just show you the Obedience Schooled line, you don't think how plus you're going in this situation. But let's say you activate Obedience Schooled, and by some miracle they don't have Ash Blossom. This card resolves. You summon out a. I'll show you the Nappies line first. You summon out a Kalantosa, you summon out a Bellerophon, and you summon out a Kit. You will go this and this. Keep the Bellerophon on the field. You would go for a number 64 Ronin Raccoon Sandalwood. And you would activate its effects, detaching Kit for cost. Very important. And then you would go ahead and make a token. And then Kit's effect's going to activate. It's going to go ahead and send your Nurgle. I know here you're going to have to add Karas here. Because Karas is Earth. You're going to normal summon the Karas.
I see.
Activate its effect. You're going to banish 2. You're going to make Bearbrum here.
Is the token level 1?
Yes.
Oh, very cool.
Token is level 1. So you're going to make Bearbrum. You're going to go level 1 token, level 2 Earth Tuner, and a level 1 2 Earth non-tuner. And you're going to make Imperial Order.
Yep, I see.
And then over here, you're going to go Sandayu plus your thing into a copy of Farragut. And then you're going to go Farragut effect. You're going to go ahead and get a copy of Soul Charge. Where is it? Is it in here? Yeah, it's in here. Okay, let's just put a card over here. You're going to go Soul Charge, and then you're going to shuffle back one of the cards. So in this case, you have a Revolt that can be activated for 4. You have a Nat Beast, and you still have 3 cards in your hand.
Right.
Like, if I don't show you these 3 cards, this combo seems a lot less impressive because this is not that hard to get rid of. But once I add this, like, this shows that I have follow-up. I might have other hand traps. I might have other traps. Like, this board suddenly becomes a lot harder to clear. Like, as a Drytron player, how do you clear this? So now, afterwards, let's go to the second combo.
Okay, let's take a look at the second combo.
The second combo is also just 1 Obedience Schooled. And in this combo, we'll get a double pop alongside the Searched Revolt.
Yeah, the double pop is really interesting. I definitely want to sort of see how that works. Yeah.
We're going to go for Obedience Schooled, and in this case, you're going to go for Kalantosa, the puppy, and the Kit.
I see. So depending, so you want to go for the Viliferon if you're going for Natria Beast, and Puppy for the double pop.
Yes.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Now it doesn't matter which one you link with. It has to be this. You can either link right now, or you can go for the Sandayu. I'll just link right now. You just link like this into a Farragut. Okay. You're gonna trigger your Kit. You're gonna send Nerval, and in this case, I would add the Kit because you're not required to have an Earth at this point, and you want to save every single copy of Karas you possibly can.
Right.
So you're just gonna activate the Farragut effect to special summon this out. You're gonna banish 2. So in this combo, you're not using your normal summon. You're gonna do this. These 2. You're gonna go for this copy of Joyous Melffys, and then you're gonna go these 2 into a copy of your second copy of your Farragut. You're gonna go Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2. You're gonna chain block. So you're gonna have 1 Revolt, and you're gonna put one of your cards back. So you're gonna end with 3 cards in your hand, 1 Revolt, and you get to draw 1, put 1 back. So the chances of you having bad cards in your hand is less. And when you activate the Revolt the next turn, remember that you hard summon the Farragut, so you get to draw 1, put 1 back again. Which is very important to dig for hand traps.
Yeah.
So let's just say we just have this. You're gonna go for Joyous on their turn when they activate a card. Let's say Virtual World activates Kowloon. So they activate the Kowloon, they get their Chuchi. You're going to activate this card's effect. You're going to send these to the graveyard, and then you're going to go ahead and summon Kalantosa and Puppy. You're going to trigger Chain Link 1 Kalantosa targeting the Kowloon, and you're going to trigger Chain Link 2 Kit to chain block. That's why it has to be Kit, because ideally it has to be Kit, because Kit here gets you your Nerval, which gets you a plus without you having to activate this revolt this turn.
Right.
Maybe you don't need to activate the revolt this turn. So now you're gonna go ahead and get a Karas here.
This is very cool. And then, of course, the puppy, whenever they... Is it special summon or is it any summon?
When they normal, special, or target the puppy for an attack.
Okay, I see. Yeah,
the puppy will return to the hand, and it will summon you your second copy of Countess of Mystical Beasts of the Forest, and you will pop another copy of your card. And the best part is, when you activate your Revolt, and you get the Farigit, you can just tuck this puppy back into the bottom of your deck, and draw whatever card that's left in your deck. Since the puppy, you no longer have Countess left in the deck, the puppy is a lot less good. You can just put it back in. Like, you never had this card in your deck before.
I see. Very cool, very cool.
And so that means you get a free card, right? And then when you activate your Revolt, you get a Shurag, and you still have a card in your banish pile. So if they clear that card, you get another card. And look what happens. You're going to draw for turn. You're going to have 7 cards in your hand.
Yeah, this combo is super hard to beat. Like the pops. I mean, if your deck that just like... I mean, like Prank Kids, Prank Kids is never going to win against this unless they have some Dark Ruler or something.
Yeah.
But even still, they still have the Revolt.
Because this is a lot more, it's really hard to hand trap this, side deck against this, because I have pops in the front and I have a banish in the back. And all that with cards in my hand that could potentially be hand traps because they run 12 hand traps.
Yep. Well, I think this is a really, really cool deck profile. I think a lot of people are going to try to pick this deck up and try it out for themselves. So thank you for sharing it, Anthony. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Are there any shout outs you want to give? Before we wrap it up?
Shout out my testing partners, I guess. IceCon or Etong from unfortunately he didn't top. We have a lot of my friends were 5-0 on the 5th round and they lost 3 in a row, which was
that's rough. That's gotta
hurt. Kevin Lee, Etong, David, shout outs to them for testing with me, and shout outs to Canadiest for giving me the deck idea. He gave me originally I was gonna enter this with regular try, and then I looked at his plays at our locals, and then I was like, you have to give me this list, and pitched me on the idea. And he pitched me on this idea, and I took the deck and I modified it a little bit, because he originally had a bigger Melffy package. He had Hide and Seek, and he had Melffy of the Forest in the extra deck. I cut that, and I played Pot of Prosperities, and a little more of cards what I think would fit better. And hey,
top 8, not bad.
Yep.
All right, well, thank you again, Anthony. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you guys all in the next video.